I go to the modify section and select the split option. So here, and then select the split tool through here, and right here where it says 2 and 3, I'll click right between them, and then up here between 3 and 4 as well. There we go, and then save the project. Alright, so the 2 inches that we have here is about equal to 63 millimeters. So I'll select that and then go over here in the plan, and for the 3 inches that we have, I'll select 75 millimeters, and then for the 4 inches I'll select 110 millimeters. And the riser itself is about 4 inches, so it's the same 110. And there we go. Alright, so I'll go over here and select this area of the plan, and then I'll hit section box. Alright, and now in this 3D view, I'll open up the visibility graphics menu, and then go over to the Revit links, click on the custom button to open up the settings, and under the model categories tab, I'll find the floors option and put it on about 70% of transparency. And alright, so the next part that we're covering is about here. So I'll select the pipe that we have here, this one, then click on it and put in minus 20 meters in order to lower the pipe. Alright, and then using the trim tool, I'll connect this pipe with this one. And there you go, they've been connected. Although we need to make a correction here, we need to put in a 45-degree angle and then it reaches the beam. But let's just leave it for now, and then we'll have to cover these areas. Let me first disconnect these two from this point, cancel on this, and then right over here we're going to use the split tool to split these two up, and then delete. Alright, Ctrl Z. Let me first delete this piece of the initial pipe and then this one so that they won't connect. Alright, then I'll hit tab to select this, and then I'll use the justify option, and here I'll fit all of them in the bottom parts. Alright, so after that I'll need to close this view so we can get to the next part. Just give me a moment to see what I can do. Alright, so close the north view and the detail as well. And then I'll put these two together in the same screen using the WT. This way I can see all the changes being made. But just a reminder here, when you're designing these parts, you have to be careful of the lower floor as well. And as you can see, the lines that we have here in the AutoCAD file right here are vents. The vents move upwards, and therefore you have a shared area between the two levels. So if I go here and select all of these green lines that define our vents, and then I'll copy them, and then if I move them from this corner to the corner on this plan, you'll notice that we have a collision right here. And so the lines that we have here, let me just change their color so you can see this better. Let's go with this color. So this vent right here is actually assigned to the lower level, and then it goes here. So when I'm designing parts like these, I have to actually imagine the vents and structures like these and have them in mind as well, so that there won't be any redoings later on. Alright, so after that, I'll go over here and select the cut tool, and then I'll proceed to the plan itself and I'll create a cut line right here in the middle. So now we want to design this area here. And then we just have to wait for the command to be applied. Alright, so let me just decrease the depth here a bit. Then select the align tool and lock the middle of this part with the cut line here. I can change this direction as well to this one, and then right click and go to view. Put the scale on 1 to 2, and on fine setting. I'll open up the area so we can see what we have here. There we go. So after that, I'll go over here and select the pipe that we have, then create similar. So here, let's just assume that we have a washing machine and a dishwashing machine as well. And on the other side, we have a couple of sinks. So I'll go over here, and you could say from inside of the wall that we have on this surface, I'll create a pipe which goes all the way down here, and then using a 45-degree angle, I'll rotate it and finish up this point. Then I'll select this and delete it and mirror this part. So we have the newly mirrored piece over here. Then I'll disconnect it and connect it again just to be sure. Now, in order to explain this part here, let's just take a look at the 3D view. This part right here actually is intruding from the wall, and we can see it above the floor, so we need to move it. We can either select the pipe and move it down and behind, or we can change the joinery. Either way, we have a collision that we need to fix. We need to solve the protruding part of the pipe. Alright, so after that, I'll select the turning pieces of the pipe here, and then I'll mirror them on this side horizontally. Now I'll select the mirror tool once again and uncheck the copy box. Let me just try this once more. So select the mirror and uncheck this, and then it goes in this direction. Alright, now let's separate these two parts. And then once again, to be sure, we connect it up like this. Alright, so it's all fine up to this point. But then we'll have to select the pipe that we have here. And then using the create similar option, we'll continue drawing a pipe all the way down here. And then using trim, we'll connect it up to the pipe that we have on the bottom. And then I'll connect the newly created piece to the pipe system above. It's all fine up to this point, but we just need to design a siphon for the piping system here. So in order to design this part, I'll click on the fitting option and see if we have the siphon through the menu. Alright, we don't have it. So using the insert tab, I'll click on the load family option, and then here I'll go to the pipe folder, fittings, PVC, schedule 40, then open this up, and we go over here and select the metric trap PVC file and load it up, the design concerning the siphon. And another point that I should mention is that none of the families that are existent in the Revit file itself have any materials assigned to them. We need to assign them a material later on ourselves. So from the system tab, I'll select the fittings tool, and now you can see the siphon has loaded up. So let me just copy the name from the edit type. Alright, then go to the families, and here find the pipe fittings option. Then here find the metric trap, right click and select edit. Now this takes us to the family. So I'll go over here and select it and assign it a parameter right here, which I'll name PVC. Then click OK and then OK. Alright, then after that, I'll go over here to the Manage tab and open up the Object Styles menu and create a new subcategory for it. I'll name this one Fittings, and then I'll click OK. Then OK to close the menu. Now from the identity data, I'll put all of it under the subcategory of fittings. Alright, then here in the mechanical section, I'll put the part type on elbow. And then from the menu, I'll click on the load into project option. Here, click on the override the existing version and its parameter value option. Alright, so we don't need this view anymore, so I'll go up here and close it. Yes and yes. Now I'll save this so we won't have to do all of the editing later on anymore. Now if I select this, it will pop up under the elbow list that we have here. Now if I click on it, it substitutes the part in the plan, but we'll have to rotate